Hello friends, in this video I will discuss about landing gear shock absorber. Landing gear shock absorbers are used to control the force of impact on an aircraft during landing. Landing shock can be absorbed by two ways. First, the shock energy is altered and transferred throughout the airframe at a different rate and time than the single strong pulse of impact. Second, the shock is absorbed by converting the energy into heat energy. Types of shock absorber. First, rigid axle type shock absorber. Second, solid spring steel type shock absorber. Third, levered bungee type shock absorber. Fourth, oleopneumatic shock absorber. We will discuss all these shock absorber one by one. So the first one is rigid axle type shock absorber. As you can see in this picture, you can see here the rigid axle type shock absorber. So rigid axle shock absorber were used early in aviation history and relied predominantly on two areas of shock absorption. The first area of shock absorption is the axle that the tires are fitted to. The axle is usually mounted to the fuselage with some vertical deflection capabilities in the form of a cushioned mounting pads located above the axle. As you can see in this picture, you can see here the rubber pads, rubber shock absorber that is fitted above the axle, and as the axle moves vertically upward, these pads are squeezed, thereby dissipating energy. The second area of shock absorber is in the form of tires. Tires as shock absorber vary in many factors depending on the aircraft they are fitted to, which may include the diameter, width, ply rating, and internal pressure. The next one is solid spring steel type shock absorber. As you can see in this picture, there is a Cessna aircraft with a spring steel stud. So the solid spring arrangement uses a solid but flexible stud which connect the wheel arrangement to the fuselage, as you can see in the picture. So this stud is mounted at a lateral angle to enable some vertical displacement of the aircraft through bending in the stud, thus enabling shock absorption. As these studs are deflected, the wheels undergoes an angle of travel. As the wheel stroke is non-vertical, as you can see in the next picture, this motion causes the excess wear on the side of the tires and is known as scrubbing. An additional disadvantage with these shock absorber arrangement is that there is no damping of the shock induced vibration. Similar to an undamped spring system, the stud reverberate up and down, causing the aircraft to bounce during landing. This type of shock absorber is appropriate for light aircraft where sink speed are low and shock absorption is non-critical. So the next one is levered bungee type shock absorber. As you can see in these pictures, you can see here the bungee type shock absorber. So the levered bungee system implement a rubber shock cords, which is essentially a rope made by binding a multitude of thin rubber strands in an oven arrangement in conjunction with a metal stud to absorb energy. So this configuration is similar to that of the solid spring arrangement, as the vertical displacement of the aircraft induce an outward movement of the landing gear wheels, causing tire scrubbing. However, in contrast to its solid spring counterpart, the levered bungee system utilizes a rubber porous shock absorber in addition to the metal pad. The result is improved energy absorption and damping abilities due to the frictional force between rubber strand. This system is also historical in existence and never considered for modern design. The next one is oleopneumatic type shock absorber, which is currently in use. So as you can see in this picture, this is a typical pneumatic hydraulic shock stud, uses compressed air or nitrogen combined with hydraulic fluid to absorb and dissipate shock loads. A shock stud is constructed of two telescopic cylinders or tubes that are closed on the external ends. As you can see in this picture, you can see two cylinders, two telescopic cylinders, upper cylinder and lower cylinder. So the upper cylinder is fixed to the aircraft and does not move. The lower cylinder is called the piston and is free to slide in and out of the upper cylinder. Two chambers are formed that you can see here, the upper chamber and the lower chamber. The lower chamber is always filled with hydraulic fluid and the upper chamber is filled with compressed air or nitrogen. You can see here an orifice which is located between the two cylinder. It provides a passage for the fluid from the bottom cylinder to enter the top cylinder chamber when the strut is compressed. Uh, you can see here a tapered metering pin. It is for controlling the rate of fluid flow from the lower chamber into the upper chamber. During compression stroke, the rate of fluid flow is not constant. It is automatically controlled by the tapering of the metered pin in the orifice. So when a narrow portion of the pin is in the orifice, more fluid can pass to the upper chamber. As the diameter of the portion of the metering pin in the orifices increases, less fluid passes. Pressure buildup caused by strut compression and the hydraulic fluid being forced through the metering orifice causes heat. So this heat is converted impact energy. It is dissipated through the surface of the strut. Oleopneumatic type shock absorber is also called a true shock absorber. On some aircraft, a metering tube is used. As you can see in this picture, you can see here a metering tube. The operating concept of the metering tube is same as that of the shock stud with metering pin, except that the hole in the metering tube control the flow of fluid from the bottom chamber to the top chamber during compression. Most shock studs are equipped with an axle as part of the lower cylinder to provide installation of the aircraft wheel. Shock stud without an integral axle have provisions on the end of the lower cylinder for installation of the axle assembly. Suitable connections are provided on all shock stud upper cylinder to attach the stud to the airframe. There is a recoil valve on the piston or a recoil tube that restrict the flow of fluid during the extension stroke, which slows the motion and prevent damping impact forces. You can see here a valve, that is upper cylinder of a shock stud typically consists a valve fitting assembly, and it is located at or near the top of the cylinder. The valve provide a means of filling the stud with hydraulic fluid and inflating it with air or nitrogen as specified by the manufacturer. As you can see in this picture, you can see here the torque arm or torque link. So this is to keep the piston and wheel aligned. One end of the link is attached to the fixed upper cylinder and the other end is attached to the lower cylinder piston, so it cannot rotate. The link also retain the piston in the end of the upper cylinder when the stud is extended, such as after takeoff. So these are all about construction of the oleopneumatic type shock absorber. Now, oleopneumatic shock stud operation. As you can see in this picture, it illustrates the inner construction of the oleopneumatic shock stud. Arrows shows the movement of the fluid during compression and extension of the stud. The compression stroke of the shock stud begins as the aircraft touches the ground. As the center of the mass of the aircraft moves downward, the stud compresses and the lower cylinder or piston is forced upward into the upper cylinder. As you can see, during the compression stroke, the lower cylinders moves inside the upper cylinder. You can see, as we know, the metering pin which is moved up through the orifice, and the taper of the pin control the rate of fluid flow from the bottom cylinder to the top cylinder at all point during the compression stroke. And at the end of the downward stroke, the compressed air in the upper cylinder is further compressed, which limits the compression stroke of the stud with minimum impact. So energy stored in the compressed air in the upper cylinder causes the aircraft to start moving upward in relation to the ground and lower strut cylinder as the strut tries to go to its normal position. So as you can see in the picture, during the extension stroke, the lower cylinder moves out of the upper cylinder, and the hydraulic fluids come from the upper cylinder to the lower cylinder. So fluid is forced back down into the lower cylinder through an restrict and snubbing orifice. The snubbing of the fluid flow during the extension stroke dampens the aircraft rebound and reduce oscillation caused by the spring action of the compressed air. So this is how all pneumatic shock stud operate. So hope you understood. This is all about the shock absorption used in the aircraft during landing. Please do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching.